Kolkata. The very name evokes a sense of history, a palimpsest of eras layered upon each other. It's a city that carries the weight of its past, a past inextricably linked with the rise and fall of the British Empire. From its humble beginnings as a trading post to its grand stature as the capital of British India, Kolkata's story is one of ambition, transformation, and ultimately, resilience. The city's journey began not on grand avenues or under the imposing arches of colonial architecture, but on the muddy banks of the Hooghly River. It was here that the tendrils of empire first took root, planted by the East India Company, a trading behemoth that would go on to shape the destiny of a subcontinent. This was a time of great change, of global trade winds carrying not just spices and silks, but also new ideas and ambitions. Kolkata, or Calcutta, as it was then known, became a crucible where these forces collided, giving birth to a city unlike any other. It was a city forged in the fires of empire, its destiny forever intertwined with the ambitions of a distant island nation. The East India Company, armed with a royal charter and an insatiable appetite for profit, arrived on the banks of the Hooghly in the late 17th century. This was a time when European powers were vying for dominance in the lucrative trade routes of the East, and the company was determined to carve out its own empire. They found a land ripe for exploitation, a land of vast resources and ancient civilizations. Bengal, with its fertile plains and rich cultural heritage, was a jewel waiting to be plucked. The region's wealth in textiles, spices and other commodities made it an irresistible target for the company's ambitions. The company, however, saw not ancient traditions but potential markets, not diverse cultures but a source of cheap labor. They were driven by a singular focus on profit, often disregarding the rich tapestry of life that existed in Bengal. The local population, with their skills and knowledge, were seen merely as tools to further the company's commercial interests. Under the company's rule, Calcutta transformed from a sleepy cluster of villages into a bustling trading hub. The once quiet riverside settlements were now alive with the sounds of commerce and construction. Streets were laid out, warehouses built, and the city began to take shape as a centre of British power in the east. Wharves teemed with activity as ships laden with cotton, indigo and tea set sail for distant shores. The harbour became a gateway to the world, with goods flowing in and out, enriching the company and its shareholders back in England. The bustling docks were a testament to the city's growing importance in global trade. Fort William, a symbol of British might, rose from the marshlands, a stark reminder of the company's growing power. This imposing structure served not only as a military stronghold, but also as a centre of administration, reinforcing the company's dominance over the region. The company's agents, men like Job Charnock, often described as the founder of Calcutta, were a ruthless breed driven by profit and a sense of their own superiority. These administrators wielded immense power, often making decisions that would alter the course of Bengal's history. Their actions were guided by a belief in their own cultural and racial superiority, which justified their exploitation of the local population. They established a system of administration that favoured British interests, enriching themselves while exploiting the local population. The local economy was restructured to serve the needs of the company, often at the expense of traditional industries and livelihoods. This created a deep-seated resentment among the people of Bengal, who saw their way of life being eroded. Yet, even as the company tightened its grip on Calcutta, seeds of change were being sown. The harsh realities of colonial rule began to stir a sense of resistance among the local population. Early protests and movements started to take shape, laying the groundwork for future struggles against British domination. The city's growing prosperity attracted merchants, artisans and intellectuals from across India, creating a vibrant melting pot of cultures and ideas. This influx of diverse talents and perspectives enriched the cultural fabric of Calcutta, making it a hub of innovation and creativity. The exchange of ideas between different communities fostered a spirit of intellectual curiosity and resistance. This fusion of Indian traditions and European influences would have a profound impact on Calcutta's development, shaping its unique character and fueling the flames of resistance that would eventually challenge the very foundations of British rule. The cultural and intellectual awakening that took place in Calcutta would play a crucial role in the broader struggle for independence, leaving an indelible mark on the history of India. The year 1772 marked a turning point in Calcutta's history. This was a time when the city began to evolve from its humble beginnings as a trading post into something far more significant. It was in this year that the city, having outgrown its mercantile origins, started to take on a new identity. The bustling trading posts and the early mercantile activities laid the foundation for what was to come. Calcutta was formally declared the capital of British India, a monumental decision that would shape its future. This declaration was not just a change in status, but a signal of the city's growing importance in the British colonial framework. This momentous decision solidified Calcutta's position as the nerve centre of Britain's vast Indian Empire, making it the administrative and political hub. British officials flocked to the city, bringing with them the machinery of colonial governance. Calcutta held this prestigious position for nearly a century and a half, during which it saw significant transformations. The city evolved, reflecting the changing dynamics of British rule in India. The city underwent a dramatic transformation as grand colonial edifices, the Governor-General's residence, the town hall, and other monumental structures began to rise. These buildings were not just administrative centres, but symbols of British power and architectural prowess. Later, the majestic Victoria Memorial was constructed, further dominating the skyline. This iconic structure became a symbol of the British Empire's grandeur and its architectural legacy in India. Calcutta became a magnet for ambitious Britons, eager to make their fortunes in the jewel in the crown of the empire. The city offered opportunities for wealth and social advancement, attracting a diverse array of expatriates. The city pulsed with a new energy, a heady mix of power, ambition, and cultural exchange. The streets and markets buzzed with activity, reflecting the vibrant and dynamic nature of colonial Calcutta. It was in Calcutta's grand mansions and exclusive clubs that policies were debated, fortunes made and lost, and the fate of millions decided. These venues were the epicenters of power and influence, where the British elite shaped the future of the colony. However, this veneer of grandeur masked a darker reality. Beneath the surface of opulence lay stark contrasts and deep inequalities. While the British elite revelled in their newfound power, the indigenous population grappled with poverty, discrimination, and the erosion of their traditional way of life. The social fabric of the city was strained under the weight of colonial exploitation. This stark contrast between opulence and deprivation, between ruler and ruled, would eventually sow the seeds of discontent that would challenge the very foundations of the British Raj. The growing discontent among the local population laid the groundwork for the independence movement, which would ultimately lead to the end of British rule in India. Despite the injustices of colonial rule, Calcutta became a crucible of cultural fusion. Indian and European traditions, forced into close proximity, began to intermingle in unexpected and fascinating ways. This fusion manifested in art, architecture, literature, and even cuisine. The city witnessed the rise of a new generation of intellectuals and artists who drew inspiration from both Eastern and Western traditions. Writers like Rabindranath Tagore, arguably India's greatest modern poet, explored themes of nationalism and cultural identity through works that resonated far beyond Calcutta's borders. Calcutta's architectural landscape became a testament to this cultural confluence. Alongside grand colonial buildings, traditional Indian styles persisted, often blending with European elements to create a unique architectural vocabulary. This fusion is best exemplified in buildings like the Marble Palace, a grand mansion that seamlessly blends Italianate design with traditional Bengali courtyards. This cultural cross-pollination was not always harmonious. It often played out against a backdrop of social tension and political unrest. Yet it was from this crucible of conflict that Calcutta's distinct identity emerged. a city shaped by both its colonial past and its rich Indian heritage. This legacy continues to define Calcutta today, a city that embraces its complexities and celebrates its cultural vibrancy. The injustices of colonial rule were never far from the surface in Calcutta. The city, with its bustling streets and diverse population, was a microcosm of the larger Indian struggle against British oppression. The city, despite its grandeur, was a powder keg of resentment waiting for a spark. The opulence of British architecture stood in stark contrast to the poverty and hardship faced by the local populace, creating a simmering tension that was palpable. That spark came in the form of rising nationalism, fueled by growing awareness of the exploitation inherent in the colonial system. The people of Calcutta began to see through the veneer of British benevolence, recognizing the economic and social injustices that were being perpetuated. Calcutta, with its concentration of intellectuals, students and political activists, became a hotbed of the independence movement. Coffee houses and universities became breeding grounds for revolutionary ideas, where debates and discussions about self-rule and freedom were commonplace. It was here that the first whispers of Swaraj, or self-rule, were uttered, whispers that would soon grow into a roar that would shake the foundations of the British Empire. These early discussions and plans laid the groundwork for a nationwide movement that would eventually lead to India's independence. The city earned the moniker City of Action for its pivotal role in the struggle for independence. Every street, every corner of Calcutta seemed to pulse with the energy of rebellion, as ordinary citizens took extraordinary steps to fight for their freedom. From the streets of North Calcutta, where clandestine revolutionary groups operated, to the halls of the University of Calcutta, where students debated political ideologies, the city throbbed with the spirit of resistance. These groups and individuals, often working in secrecy, orchestrated protests, strikes and acts of defiance that challenged British authority at every turn. Leaders like Subhas Chandra Bose emerged from the crucible of Calcutta's political ferment, challenging the British Raj with unwavering determination. Bose's charisma and leadership inspired many to join the cause, making him a central figure in the independence movement. The city witnessed countless protests, strikes and acts of defiance, each one a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people. Workers, students and ordinary citizens alike took to the streets, united in their demand for freedom and justice. Calcutta, once the jewel in the crown of the British Empire, was rapidly becoming a thorn in its side, a constant reminder of the unsustainable nature of colonial rule. The city's transformation from a symbol of British power to a beacon of Indian resistance was a powerful testament to the strength and resilience of its people.